Hey, it's art time, everybody. Episode 3. Let's get into it and see what we're up to today. Hey, everybody. It's Amanda with Local Love, and today it's art time. Today we're going to do some faux stained glass. I know a lot of people have done this, but for those of you that like it a simple approach, this is how I do it. And I think it's always nice to kind of see the different ways that people handle it. So we're going to do it today because it seems like a fun idea, and you can really just take this to a whole nother level. So let's get to arting. All right, so here's what you're going to need. You're going to need a picture frame. The important thing about the picture frame is you're going to need to have glass or a see-through acrylic, although I think glass would work a lot better. And the other important aspect is whatever the backing of the frame is needs to be able to be removable and still have the glass in so that you can use it as a sun catcher and be able to see through it. Here we go. Here's what we're gonna do. So now I took a picture. You're gonna see what I've done here, taking my pictures, getting them the right size for your frame. Mine are kind of small frames. I wanted something just kind of cutesy. And from there, you're going to need some puffy paint. Black puffy paint would be preferred, but whatever color, suits you. Black puffy paint would be more like having stained glass edges to kind of fake the lead in a stained glass. And then stained glass paint, which you can get at your local Walmart and or any arts and crafts store. Honestly, they come in little pallets, and you can either get a little pot system like this one, which I only paid a couple dollars for, or you can buy like individual pots too sometimes. At least I have in the past. And these are just called sun catcher paints, basically. And this one was nice because it came with, I probably won't use this brush, but we'll see. But it came with a nice variety of colors. Hopefully you can see all those colors. And yeah, we're gonna see how it works. It says great for window art. We'll be the judge of that. So we'll check it out, and let's get started. All right, so here's what we're doing. We've put our picture into our frame, and we are going to go around it with our black Sharpie marker. And of course, I don't recommend doing a design like the one I have here because it is not a line art. It does make it a little bit harder to follow along and to be able to commit to these exact designs. So I do recommend like a coloring book style, where it's just an outline. Much easier option, but the upside, as you can see from my numerous times of doing it, you can actually scratch off this marker. Now, this is not a Sharpie marker. I'm not sure if Sharpie is a little more permanent than this, but it is supposed to be like a faux Sharpie kind of thing. It's just called Pro Marks Permanent Marker. All right, it says durable fiber tip, recap after use. Well, that should be pretty obvious. So you don't want them to dry out. But of course, you just want to trace over any of the main features of your item. In my case, I did it around the eyes and the little flourishes, and of course the main outline of the kitty cat. And as you can see, I did sort of a sugar scully flower type kitty cat, which I love. And yeah, we'll just see where the art takes us. All right, so we finished that up, and as we do, and as you can see, I kind of used electrical tape to keep the picture in the frame. Now you remove it from the frame, and of course you are going to go ahead and just update and correct any things. As I said, you can kind of rub this paint off. You might have to wet your finger or use a little paper towel, but you want to rub it off, and then of course you want to put it back into your frame with that blank side showing. And now we're going to use our black puffy paint. This is just 3D Tulip brand puffy paint, and we're going to basically, once you've corrected and fully finished your design, you're going to start going around the edges of it with that puffy paint. Now, before you start on the puffy paint, you want to compare this to your design and just get a general idea of what you're looking for, and make sure that you're sort of close and just kind of line it up. Make any additional changes you might want to make at that point. And then once you are done with all of your updates and changes, that is when you're going to actually turn it over and start with your puffy paints. As you can see, it took me quite a while to get this just right, because like I said, this is not like a main just plain line drawing, and I think that really hindered my design, but we finally got there, so it's all good. So now we turn it over and we get our puffy paint out, and here's where the magic starts. And basically we're just going to line out everything that we want it to kind of look like it is, you know, obviously stained glass. So we want it to have a black background to be able to fill in. This way, when we start to do the stained glass paints, they'll have kind of a place to be able to sit and be in between it, and it'll look a little more like stained glass. Now you can kind of make your design however you like. You can go abstract, you can go without a picture, but what we basically did is just follow the outline of our kitty cat here until we got it where we liked it. It took us quite a while. You know, the upside of the puffy paint is you can let it dry and pull it right off. You can take a razor blade, you can scrape it off the glass. This is where having a glass from a picture frame might work a lot better than doing an acrylic piece of plastic in a frame. So you really do want the glass, if you know, unless you're just like a really accomplished artist, which clearly from watching me go through my trial and errors, not the case here. We have a little fun with it, trying to figure out how I want to do it. I finally decided I was just going to fill it in. I like black cats. Most of the kitty cats in my household are black cats. So basically we just kind of filled it in, tried to make it look a little fluffy. And at the end of the day, it turns out pretty close to how we wanted it to look before we'd start our next process, which will be the stained glass portion. So we had a long way to go, and of course once I did around all the lines to be sure that it matched up, because when you get done you are going to go back to the back again, and you're going to take a little bit of water, a little bit of elbow grease, and get all of these Sharpie lines, or fake Sharpie in this case, lines off. And if you haven't got them in there properly and you haven't filled it in the way you like it, it will look a little funky. So I had a lot of trial and error with this, but we finally got where we wanted to be, and I think it actually will end up being a really cool project. So just take your time with it. Okay, so this is sort of where we're at, and you can get a general idea of what we're trying to do here. And of course, now we're just going to go in and finalize any other designs we want on this glass, in addition to the kitty cat. And so I sort of went with a traditional sort of stained glass look, as you're going to see when we get our puffy paint out. And yeah, so you just put it down in there, and you can make whatever designs you want. You can print hearts. You can just make little squares or triangles like I did here to sort of make it look more like stained glass. A word of advice on the puffy paint too, guys. Get the smaller bottle. I thought, you know, oh, big bottle, I have lots of puffy paint. But if you get the smaller bottle, you can make smaller lines. My lines kept coming out a little too fat, so I've made a few adjustments. All right, guys, so now, as you can see, we've cleaned up our piece, and this is what I ended up deciding to do with my cat. And hopefully you guys can kind of see it. It still has, I decided I want a black cat because, you know, most of the cats in my household are black. And then I'm just going to put it on something that's a white background to make it super easy, so that we can start looking at adding our suncatcher paint. So let's get started. All right, so now once you open this up, you're going to want to give it a little zhuzh, a little stir. And always want to work from the furthest inside that you plan on having this color. And just, I like the idea of putting it on there sort of heavy, but of course you can do it however you think it will work best for your design. Now mine's a kitty cat, so I am going to make the ears pink as well. And honestly, this little brush that came with it wasn't too bad after all. So I'm gonna put it on there a little thick because I want it to look kind of like stained glass, and I think this really does have a good effect with doing that. So we'll see what we think once it dries, whether it needs another coat or if this is going to be enough. But I think you kind of get the idea of what we're doing here, and hopefully you can find a design that you really like and that you can personalize as well. I personally think this is going along very nicely, and we're just going to kind of continue along this path here. Might have to fix that. I might have overdone it there. All right, there we are. And we want to just kind of finish all of our areas that we have for that particular color. Now I'm just going to kind of zhuzh this just a little. Can also take a little piece of paper towel and kind of fold it so that you can kind of catch that edge where I overflowed it a little. There we go. Not so bad. And then we just kind of fix it. Make sure you don't drag it into your other art. There we go. I think that's a little better. We'll touch it up slightly. Lord knows I am not a perfect artist. I am somebody who just likes to experiment and have a little bit of fun. The important thing is before you start this, you want it to be as clean as possible. Unfortunately with mine, there's just some paint that just simply doesn't really want to budge. So we did the best we could to get it cleaned up, but you can kind of see it here. It's coming up a little bit. If I can get more of it off as we go along, I will. Now I'm going to move to one of these squares here and just, I like the idea of painting it kind of thick, but you could also like swirl it. You could do, you know, any number of things, and then it would kind of resemble like a interesting design, right? But I think I'm just going to go with a nice thick application so it sort of looks like a stained glass at the end of it all. So let's just kind of tap it on. There's not a real good way to spread this other than to tap it into place, really. Kind of push it around a little bit. This brush is kind of ideal for it. At the end of the day though, I think that looks pretty darn good, and I like it so far. We'll see what it looks like once it dries. So let's do this big one up here maybe. See what I mean? You can't really spread it very well. I mean, maybe if I switch to a different brush, which I do have some others, we might try that and see if a different paintbrush will do a better job of getting it on there. But I think it kind of, once it settles in, I think it sort of balances it out and moves it around where it needs to be. So we'll see if that works out for us in the end. And if not, I mean, we can always apply another coat. So it's just a matter of making sure you have enough to do all your piece. And you know, so we're not going to go crazy on the pink because we actually have another piece we might be doing with the same color as well. So we'll do the best we can and try to fill this in. Just kind of tap it and leave it on there. And I don't know how long this is going to take to dry, but you know, we'll check in on it and I'll be able to give you a better idea of how long it took. All right, so far so good. little. We're gonna go back to this yellowy one, see if we can make a green. Because they didn't give us a green for some reason, which is kind of concerning. Let's see if we can make it a little greeny. Maybe not. Kind of like that. So that was the yellow and the blue together. Made it kind of swirly. I kind of like it. Let that dry, and you know, we'll see what happens. And if it's not the best, we learned something new today, and we'll be able to see a better way to do it next time. One thing I just realized, I'm gonna have to fold down these paper towel corners, because if they hit it, they're probably gonna stick. So keep that in mind when you do it as well. And hopefully you've been enjoying this so far, and I hope you guys try this too. So stay tuned, and we'll show you the big reveal on how it turns out. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you're doing these faux stained glasses, personally, this is just my opinion, it'll hide a multitude of sins if you flip it and the smooth side is out and all the stained glass paint is on the inside. Now, you might like it the other way, so see which one works for you. But if you decide to flip it, remember that it will flip your design. So make sure that your design is facing the way you want it at the time on the side that you're not painting, so that it'll show through. If you're gonna show the side that you did paint, that's fine, you can leave it the way it is, but just something to keep in mind, because I didn't think about it either. So something to consider. Also, guys, do you have art? We would love to share your art here at Local Love. You can actually follow us on Instagram at locallove_now, N-O-W, and we will love to share your art. We do a lot of art videos. We love to share everybody in the community's art, and let us know where we can find yours And if it's for sale, let us know your best pieces. Tag us with some of the ones that you have that you really love and you think people will really get a kick out. And other than that, make sure that you like and subscribe to us, because we are not going to stop doing videos. And we love doing this just for you guys. We're not getting anything from this. We haven't got enough subscribers to be getting paid. So that means that we're doing it for the pure joy of us doing it and sharing it with you guys. So if you could like and subscribe, that would absolutely tremendously help us out. So thank you in advance. And if not, I hope you at least enjoy. So let's wait and see how that reveal comes out. And here's the big reveal. I love this. I think it came out so beautiful. I can't wait to put it on my window so that the sun can kind of come in, because it'll be even more beautiful than it is now. What do you guys think? We got great news. Our video is sponsored by the Local Love Shop, so you can be keto amorous. Ah, yeah, baby, we love our food. Or if maybe you're more about the scene and you want to see what other stuff we have, including our sushi flamingo, we have masks and fanny packs and stickers. We even have some leggings. So, check it out. There's a variety of things in our Local Love Shop right now. So we appreciate you guys going over and checking it out and letting us know what you think about our items. Thank you. What a fun day of art we had. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We appreciate you watching, and I hope that you enjoyed everything we did. Also, don't forget to share your art with us, or if you want to contact us and get involved with anything that we're doing, let us know. We're here for you. So peace.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and share with all your friends.
And hit that bell so you know when we have a new video.